the intro going. What's up? Once again, we're back in the house. Skinny Black's Lounge. I'm your host, Rob, aka Skinny Black. Also in the lounge with me,
JT, period silent. Hi, Mom.
there it is. Cool. And as always, we got the Ghost Lebo. Big ups, big ups, big ups. If y'all ain't familiar with the Ghost of Lebo, y'all gotta holler back in and go through some old episodes. We might even have Lebo in here, in person. But the Ghost is always with us. So, welcome again. We got Dio behind the boards. And before we get this thing jumped off, like we always do about this time, fuck shit.
I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
So I was, I work a lot, man. Because I got a lot of beggars on the payroll. So, what's a Robin Harris old joke? They beg so much their hands look like cups. So I took a rare weekend off. And I decided to pop some popcorn, which is my favorite snack, and watch my favorite movie of all time, which is Coming to America, which still stands the test of time. No need to go through all of it, but it's a classic. And if you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. And if you over a certain age and you black and you haven't seen it, just mail your black card in. We don't want to come after you like ICE. So in the movie, they had the restaurant called McDowell's, which was a spinoff of McDonald's. And he was very successful. He lived a nice upper middle class life and took care of his family, right?
The bun had no seeds.
So what that says to me is you don't always have to come up with the original idea. You can duplicate something, twist it or remix it, and make it a success. We've seen that with plenty of businesses, right? Mm-hmm. I can't tell you who came first, Uber or Lyft, but I could tell you they both competing right now, no matter who was first. As a matter of fact, it might have been an app before that was before them. Airbnb, next thing you know, Vrbo, everything else comes behind it. Now you competing, right?
Right.
So I came up with a couple of ideas for businesses that are spinoffs on ones we already know.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So the first one, everybody knows Hallmark. That's classic Americana. They even had their own channel where they show corny ass movies 24/7. But the thing that they don't handle in the Hallmark card section is like real life, right? So I was talking to a close friend of mine, and she was like, I struggle in the card section because me and my mom wasn't close when I was growing up, but we cool now. So on Mother's Day, they don't really have a card for that. Like they got them long ones. Thank you for what you did to me, and it's flowers and this, and that. So I was like, well, Cindy, I need to give like some cards, like instead of a dozen roses on it, it's like 3 daisies. And the card would be like, you doing way better. You know, for that dad that wasn't in your life, for Father's Day, instead of a Father's Day card, you give him a welcome back card. Maybe you don't meet him until you're an adult and it's at the end. Then that card will be like, hey, you know, this shit could have turned out way worse. So that's, I call that company Fall Mark. The second company, because I was thinking about my grandmother. And back in the day, my grandma, you know, devout Christian woman, all she did was raise children and whoop ass and go to church.
That's it.
She used to watch TBN. That's the Trinity Broadcast Network. You know, church 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to start my own TBN called Tough Break Nigga. Now, it's a religious experience, but it's different. This channel is dedicated to all the bad stuff that happened to black people. And not all of the big, I'm just saying like the normal stuff that happened to black people. And we just document it. You could upload your life and then I could comment. You know, let's see. You train the person that then passes you up for the promotion. So as you upload the video of the VP giving this dude the promotion. And right before he shakes his hand, the video pauses and you hear my voice go, tough break, nigga. You about to pay your last child support payment at 18, and then they changed the law to say you on the hook till they 25. I got a copy of the last check that you thought was the last check. Tough break, nigga.
Oh.
Whew. Now, my last company, which I don't even have a title for, but I was watching the Turner Classic joints, and they had the old school telegram, right?
Mm.
They had one. It was like a singing telegram, you know,
Oh,
like a little barbershop quartet came and sang. Yeah, you know, it was all kind of whiteness. So I was like, I need to have a professional cussing service where you hire me or someone of my kind to show up at places and just dog cuss somebody out. You left the job, you gone, you was a model professional, and all of a sudden that person in cubicle 3 you didn't like, you hired me. And I'm going to tear Karen's ass up.
oh my God.
You know, like, hey, I want to let you know Latrice never did like your pink footed ass. You know, see, this is what I'm saying, man. You TBN, Fall Mark, and professional cussing haters, you on some sucker shit.
Oh man, bro. Another classic, man. That was another classic. We may have to hire a couple of those. First of all, I'm gonna have to hire somebody to go cuss folk out. We definitely have to put that in motion. And those cards, bro, that's classic.
Hey man, I heard somebody call somebody a mother bastard because they didn't understand what the combination of those words meant.
Where they from?
And I was like, you need a professional cusser because this is not effective, what you're doing right here.
Okay, where were they from?
I don't know, but they were not originally from here. Let's just
Okay,
say that.
I think that's obvious.
They were from middle something,
Okay, okay,
middle something.
got you.
That could be Middle Earth for those of you that like science fiction. Just middle something.
Oh man, that's a great way to start us off tonight. Thank you, brother, for that. Another classic sucker shit. What we're gonna do? We're gonna get into the proceedings this evening. We're gonna start off where we ended last week. We had a dope conversation last week about fatherhood, and it wasn't just about fatherhood and our reflections of our fathers. It was our reflections of our fathers as being sons. And man, we had a full house and it was cool. And what we gonna do is, at some point in time, we want to have that conversation and keep it going because it was so powerful. There was so much more to say. There was so much more that people got out of it that they weren't able to express at the moment. Matter of fact, I got a few phone calls after that, and guys was like, "Hey, man, that was a great conversation. I'm glad I got a chance to contribute. A lot of stuff got illuminated for me. A lot of stuff got illuminated for me, Rob, Skinny Black, because I got a chance to hear some stuff from JT that he had never shared before. Some of his reflections, and that was cool. Yeah. Who's this? Who's this? Wally Patterson. Good to see you still in black. Cool. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming on in. This chat gonna be lively, so feel free to throw your comments in the chat. But like I was saying, that conversation last week on fatherhood, there's just so many aspects of that. From now, all of us are now fathers, looking at fatherhood from the opposite side, from seeing our father one way, like, yo, this dude keep talking to me and I don't really want to hear him. He just spitting that BS. And however we took how we felt about our fathers and that instruction they was trying to give us at the time. So now we're the fathers and giving instruction, right? And one of the key takeaways from last week was, don't expect any type of flowers. Don't expect any type of respect. Don't expect any type of acknowledgement of your vision is on point and that you're a great leader for your family and that you're the only one holding down the values. You're the only one holding down the responsibility and accountability of your family. Don't expect none of those flowers for that stuff. What you need to do is just understand that you're doing the right thing. It's rooted and grounded in a set of values that want to see your progeny and your family be successful in ways that prepare them for the world. So before we get into this clip, JT, anything you want to add to that?
I'll just say that that was a dope conversation. I learned a lot. I've been reflecting on it. It hit me.
Yeah.
And you're right. I hadn't expressed a lot of things about my father, like I did that night. Um, but it was the environment and the guys and being amongst men and our energy, felt like we was on kind of like some Voltron shit.
Sure.
And so it was a space where truth could be explored and like real talk, that overused and abused saying. But it was like I told you afterwards, I was like, man, that was really dope. And because of that, I came back because I almost gave up on you. I was like, if he don't come with a better topic, I'm just gonna watch Monday Night Football. Try to fuck with this man.
Hey, well, that was inspired by Keith sharing a picture, a photo of his dad, man, and then the conversation with David afterwards that same day. It's like, yo, there's something here that we need to explore and unpack, and that's all it was, man. Just trying to.
Well, first of all, Keith didn't have to even say nothing about his daddy. When I saw that picture, I knew what time it was. I said, you can't have that outfit with that brim and that chain on.
Hey, listen, we won't show it. We'll invite Keith back so he can show the photo. But
he looked like he said all these fingers do is count money and touch bitches. I was like, oh, sis been pimping.
Talk shit and swallow spit.
Shout out to Keith, man. The tribute he gave his dad, just impromptu. The fact that he felt comfortable enough to share that with us, did spark it. And like I said last week, like I told him in our group chat, and I'm gonna say it again today, and it's okay for me to acknowledge this. There is a part of me that, as a son, the son part of me, that's jealous of that relationship, of that reverence, because what he showed was the respect to his father. And in manhood circles, respect is greater than love.
For sure.
And that's what touched all of us when we talked about it, is respect, because he gave perspectives on his dad and humanized him. He didn't idolize him, he humanized him.
Good point. Ooh, that's powerful. Good point.
And in him being human made him respect him more. And that his dad was transparent on a level that he couldn't understand as a child and a young man. It wasn't until he became a man that he was like, oh, he was keeping it 1,000 with me.
Sure.
It was me that wasn't up to the task yet.
Yeah, man. The only analysis is self-analysis. So I know we got a couple of fathers in the chat. So watching and viewing live, hey, listen, tell your friends, like, subscribe, share, bring in some dope perspective on this conversation. Be sure, hey, add your chats in, add your perspective. If you got questions and things you want us to unpack, type that in. But let's get into this first video. Man, this one right here.
And his other woman. It's the best example of love. He loved her. For whatever issues he had with my mom, it wasn't love. But when I really sit and think about how he treated that woman, that's who he was out with. I had to call my two younger brothers and talk to them about what was life like. And this is a conversation I've never wanted to have with them. But I gotta have this conversation if I'm gonna be better to my son. Hey man, walk me through what Pops was like at your crib. On the nights he didn't come.
He wasn't with you, your mom. What was he like?
Through. Damn. And they described a man I never met.
So
I don't.
You got an opportunity to see him when he was with your mom. So when they're explaining to you, I mean, he was home, he was at the dinner table, he
Checking
read the stories,
homework, bro.
checking home. What?
Going to their games, bro.
Oh my God.
My pops never did that. And so,
Did man, Roy, that had to hurt.
but you don't unpack it. Imagine being 38 in the delivery room, unpacking that shit in real time while you holding your newborn. Because these are things I've never had to consider. I've never had to consider showing him love because I had no kid. But now I have a kid and I go, well, damn, he needs love. Okay, well, I am
And I didn't
him.
learn it from my pops.
So who did my Aunt JP and Uncle Rick, they love each other real. My aunt, like a couple, but I ain't around them on a regular. My pops is buried next to that one. She died 3 years before my dad. My dad got his and hers
Plots.
Cemetery. And we didn't even know he was being buried next to her until we was walking the casket up the hill. That's love. You can be mad about it or you can be sad about it, or you can take the game and figure out how to apply that to your child. A woman he came home to every night. So if nothing else, it gives me a blueprint of what I should be looking for and what I should want out of a woman and what I should want within a relationship. Mm-hmm. She loved his funky draws, he loved hers. And that wasn't the case at our crib, and that's just what it was. Like, one of the hardest things I have to do, because I follow my two younger brothers, like, love them to death. I follow them on social. Father's Day, Pop's funeral day, Pop's birthday. I usually don't go on social on those days.
Because they're talking about a man that you never knew.
Never knew. They posting pictures with this man, and these are the old school Polaroids that's got the date at the bottom. I can look at the date of the picture and tell you whether or not the heat was on at our house, because my parents was arguing and Pops had pulled, So the idea that I can even learn what type of father I could be from watching through his lens. He was damaged. You were damaged and you sought comfort through women and sex.
Did you think for a second, Roy?
That was
he gave you his name. He gave you he didn't give it to the others.
Give me your time. Your name.
Touche. That's Code Shannon to get $50 in lineups after you play.
All right. What's your thoughts, Jay? And cats in the chat. What are y'all thoughts?
7,000 thoughts, but let me give you a couple.
Oh yeah, we're gonna unpack a bunch of them on this one.
The first thing is a thought that I think may be a little different for most folks that listen to that initially. And nothing I want to go too deep into, but just I want to share this. Roy Wood Jr., who was on that clip, is one of the best writers and funniest guys that a lot of people don't know. Mm-hmm. Some of your favorite comedians and comedy things, skits and shows, he's the pen behind a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Some of your funniest people that you've ever known, it is from pain. It is their way of dealing with pain. Mm-hmm. I can totally understand and totally relate to that mindset because everybody has different coping mechanisms. Now, the end of it, he talked about having his name, or Shannon said it. Shannon Sharp said it. I happen to be a junior.
Yep.
And I happen to have not had a relationship with my father in my life. It's been dealt with, no shade on him. There's a lot of history and information and things that had happened for it to go this way. But the fact of the matter remains, I'm his oldest son. I am junior. I did not have a relationship with him. I learned more about my father after his passing than in his life on this planet. And I'm not at the point where I say, F the name, give me your time. But I would trade time for the name. And I think that most now men in my situation would do that. The other thing that I found interesting was when he talks about his younger brothers and analyzing this situation. He has separated the reality and the lessons and life from the emotion of it.
Mm.
And that is how he has gotten the lesson to make him a better father. Because without knowing his dad and the whole situation, it seems like that man led a dual life. Because if he's getting those tributes and he's getting this and he's getting that, then in that household, that other household, he was a great dad. So if he could take those lessons and apply it to his life and
Right.
separate his emotions out, then the lesson is more valuable to his lineage and his son and their relationship than his feelings. There's a time to sort out the feelings and there's a time to get the lesson.
Right.
And in real time, he is displaying that on camera. In real life, I'm sure it took a lot longer and it was a lot harder.
Yep.
But there are many folks that haven't found the capacity to do that, especially with fathers. Um, People make mistakes and people are wayward, but we don't have we don't have a line that's like the equivalent to, even though you was a crack fiend mama, you always was a black queen mama. We don't have nothing, no line like that for daddies.
Zero.
Nigga got Papa was a Rolling Stone, and that's about it.
Right.
So, and that's not to dismiss, or disregard the men that aren't involved in their children's lives, because I grew up with that. But as a man, when I learned the fullness of the story, there are things that have happened that I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
And I'm blessed to have had a family and men that put their arms around me. But I was like, okay, well, what if those men weren't there?
Mm.
What would I be? What's my attitude? What's my disposition? There were so many blessings and guardrails that was putting, just people surrounding me, put a fence around me. Cause you think I'm crazy now, man, I was a pocket rocket, all that testosterone and bullshit in my body and anger and attitude,
Mm.
and the men in my family corralled it, focused it, streamlined it, so now I can have the perspective I have today. He was amazingly insightful and introspective in that conversation.
Yep.
Amazingly honest.
Yep.
And you know what he wasn't?
What's that?
He wasn't vulnerable. He was strong in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You can be transparent and honest, and it has nothing to do with being vulnerable.
Mm.
I can't stand that word.
Powerful.
Because that word actually goes against my other directive as a man in terms of protection. Because if I'm protecting something, I don't want to show my vulnerabilities. but I do want to be honest and transparent about the weakness in my defense so I can shore it up.
Touche. There was a couple of pieces. I wrote down a bunch of notes on this. You kind of touched on it a little bit, and you touched on having this experience. Here's a question: how does new info shift your adult perspective of your dad? Because there was a thing when he was talking about not being on social media for the day dad died, Father's Day, and dad's birthday, because his brothers were going to, be talking about him, talking, flowery or glowing about their dad. And he didn't have that, so he felt some sort of way about it. But I can tell, or you can tell, that he still wanted some insights to this man, So, and that may have shifted. I haven't watched that. I got to watch that whole Club Shay Shay. I haven't finished it. But he may have, like yourself and your reflection, and it wasn't a case of he was around, just didn't come around, later on in life because he wasn't around, right? Your pops had passed. But the narratives of who he was are definitely different from what you carried about him today versus what it was 30, 40 years ago.
Well, there's two different things with that. For me,
Yeah.
when you have truly dealt with something, you become neutral. So let me give you an example.
Speak on it.
From my personal life. One of the most one of the greatest pitfalls and biggest challenges that I've ever experienced was my divorce. And at the time, I considered it the greatest failure in my life. If you would have had a conversation with me right after that, there's no way I could talk to you
Right.
without anger. Well, it was mostly anger, but some type of emotion coming out. Right?
Right.
Now, if we talk about it, I can talk to you and you would think that I'm describing waiting for a green light to cross the street. Because I've dealt with it, and that's how matter of fact I can talk about it now. It's almost as if part of me is separated and is narrating somebody else's story. Right? Sometimes, and everybody's different. It could take, some people never are done with it,
Mm-hmm.
But even if you start talking about it, you start reliving it, and then the emotions come up, and boom, you back in that place when you was 10 years old, and you just can't get away from that 10-year-old.
Right.
There is a part of him, and I get it, you don't want to see, like, if somebody the classic hero movies have a very clear hero and a very clear villain. You know who to root for, you know who to root against. But when those lines start getting mixed, you feel conflicted. What if that person that's been the villain this whole time is someone else's hero?
Ooh.
He just wasn't that to you.
Right. That's what we just heard.
And on top of that, he's the hero to people that you care about. So he's like, I'm just going to stay away. I'll share this because it's been many years since we are over a decade removed from this. But when my father passed, they had a repast for him, and I brought my kids, my son and my daughter. And my son was in high school at the time. Man, jeez, so it's like, gee, time flies. And everybody was telling stories and doing it like my family do it, but they telling their stories, and I was just sitting there, and man, it was like, I don't know none of this.
Hmm.
I don't even know half the people here, and I'm Junior. So I understand that feeling of being disconnected,
Yeah.
but I've been blessed to get my father's side of the family back, and I'm better for it. My children are better for it. My grandmother's still alive, and I've been able to spend time with her, and and hear all the stories and understand more about myself because it's in the DNA, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I consider myself a blessed man. So if I just use the example of the 10-year-old or whatever age it is and whatever stage it is, I had to have that talk with me. And hey man, everybody want to hit that, it's pound their chest and say I'm a grown ass woman or I'm a grown ass man
Mm-hmm.
until it's time to be grown for real. So if you grown, have your grown ass self talk to your 10-year-old self. And what the old black folks say, we got bigger fish to fry.
Yep.
And I made a promise to myself, silently and quietly, that whatever generational curses and traumas that I could handle, the most I could deal with, we're going to stop with me. So I did not pass them on to my children. So that was the mission. So I had to talk to 10-year-old JT and be like, hey, homie, I know it was messed up, but we on mission.
Mm. Dad treating another woman different from your mama. And the way he talked about the impact of that broken relationship breaking the children, right? So he didn't say that. I'm just making my observation like, yo, that broken relationship between his dad and his mom created some brokenness in him, because that other relationship his dad had, those kids had a different version of him, and that version was probably based on, because he said, he was like, yo, so the mom and dad was not agreeing or whatever, and then the light be out. Like, oh, okay. So you got a chance to experience the results and the outcomes of broken relationships. So we'll go ahead.
I wasn't even thinking it like that. I was thinking like, and this might be messed up, but what if your mama was a side piece?
Hey, that's real.
No, no, no. I'm not saying that for him specifically. I'm just out of my mind with. I was like, you know, I mean, it's messed up, and it's not something I would do. But I know I've seen the treatment of side babies. And
Some real
sometimes it's not
situations.
good.
Yeah, some real situations right there, man.
Or, and this is not him. I'm just throwing the hypotheticals out. Unless you, it took me a long time to come to the realization that my mama was my daddy's chick. Like she not his mama. Nigga, I look at her through son eyes.
Not how he look at
Not how he looked at her.
it.
I'm not excusing I'm not excusing no bad behavior. I'm
Right,
just
right,
giving a reality check.
right.
One of the things that people not honest about the situations and how stuff comes up.
Hmm.
Everybody didn't go to the prom together.
Say that.
Some of y'all will you some your mama's hand was next to a phone number written in a Sharpie or a pen on the wall of a bathroom, and that's where you was conceived.
Oh my goodness.
Wasn't nothing loving gonna come out of that.
Hey, you say hard but fair, sad but true.
I'm just saying, man, like, hey, look, again, I'll keep saying this. I'm not excusing bad behavior.
Right.
But if it was, just wash rags,
Man.
we gonna get back to talking more
Yeah.
serious. Let me just say
Yeah.
one more thing.
Yeah. Okay.
If your mama was a vampire to your daddy,
Hmm.
which means she never saw sunlight with that man. She wasn't working swing shift. She had a regular job. No weekends. They only saw each other between 11 and 4. 11 p.m. and 4 a.m.
Boy,
Dog. But we not gonna be honest about the nature of the relationship, right?
right.
Again, that doesn't excuse anything because man, I love mine, so and they spoil rotten. But I'm saying that there are situations that are happening. Now,
Mhm.
in all seriousness, in the same breath and tone of being honest, we got to be honest about like how the adults have treated each other.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I understand the concept of no matter what, you got to be a dad, but everybody ain't John Brown.
Hmm.
Everybody, like we love to talk about mental health. We love to talk about bullying. We love to talk about shaming, but we don't love to talk about it in certain terms. You know, I'm sure it's been said because I haven't heard every word that's been said. But I've never heard uh, a black father described as he did the best he could.
Damn.
And I am ready to be corrected. And hopefully y'all got a video y'all can show me. And I'm sure it's one, like, you know, some nigga named Earl somewhere in Kentucky or something. But this video of Earl. This proves everything. The fact that you have a video of Earl and you kept it proves my point, but that's beside the point.
Right.
We, and again, that is not to not hold men to the standard. That's the standard. But what happens when we fall below the standard? It's not met with grace
Right.
and support. And I want to know the backstory and how can we make it better? And it's not over yet. I want that opportunity for redemption for fathers. If me and my father did nothing else, I would have loved to have a beer. Now, this is in retrospect. This is me talking now, not me talking then. I would have loved to have a beer and a sit down. And, you know, I heard he liked dark liquor. So I would have got him whatever. And I got some rum. And we could have sat and just chopped it up and let the conversation go where it go. You know, and me get some understanding on who he is. But, you know, that didn't happen.
Hey, let me hit a quick side note. Taking Dad to some appointments today. I had 3 appointments today. Jeez. So in between, I had a question. I said, hey, what type of father did you want to be? He was like, I don't know. Never thought about it. It's like, okay, cool. So what examples were you looking at for fatherhood? I already know he and his father didn't have a good relationship, so I knew he wasn't going to say him in the way that you know, in the linear way. He was like, you know, I don't know. And he said Martin Luther King. And I was like, wow. I was like, okay. So I already know my grandmother's sister, who lives here in LA. She just passed away a couple of years ago, 90-something years old. Who he spent time with, who he lived with when he first moved to LA from Akron, got out the Navy. Now, her and her husband were together till he passed. And that's and they had both five, 6 children. And I was like, Uncle Wesley, what about Uncle Wesley? And he was like, oh yeah, you know, but it wasn't. I could tell Pop, Dad wasn't making that connection, right? And I say, so what about family? He's like, yeah, you learned and you figure out that family really wasn't that close. And I was like, wow, okay, well, that was a choice. I mean, you had a choice to be close. And he was like, well, you make good decisions, make some bad, you know, some work out, some don't. And I was like, okay. it just showed like this difference of his experiences as a man, as a father, as a dad. You know, he was just that dude that put his head to the grindstone and just went to work, man. And this is what he did say. He said, thank you. He did say this. He said, I figured if, as a father, if my children stayed out of jail, got a good education, then it was cool. And I said, well, how you think you did? He was like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I did all right. I don't know. And me, I'm waiting for him to ask me, like, hey, how do you think I did? But of course, that expectation was too much. But anyway, that's as a side note, just having this conversation with my 80-year-old dad of thinking about, did he have a thought about what it meant to be a father? Did he have a vision of what kind of father he wanted to be? Did he have any type of reflections on who his son is right now, after, at this late stage in his life? So this is an interesting conversation today, man.
Let me offer something to you, brother. Your dad is 80. What was the number one sport for him growing up?
I don't know. I think baseball.
No, the number one sport in America for their generation growing up. It was one of two things. It was either boxing or baseball.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, in boxing, in baseball, you could feel how you want to feel when you up at the plate and the umpire's calling balls and strikes. But when his ass say strike three, you out, you could argue till you blue in the face. But you know what you about to go do? Sit your ass down because you struck out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the men of that generation dealt with life. Like, I'm sure they had they nightmares and thoughts but if you ever talk to them, they gonna give you the same conversation your dad gave you. Man, so hey, sometimes you get a walk, sometimes you get a hit, sometimes you strike out. That's all he said to you.
Basically.
An overly emotional black man of that time is more than likely a jailed or dead black man.
Mm-hmm. True.
So much of this is understanding that perspective. I've come to that. It's not something that I had before.
Right.
But there's a generational conversation that's happening. Mm-hmm. When I talk to my son, he's different than me. So there's a generational conversation that's happening with us.
Yeah.
And just the difference is, for me and him, is that I'm aware of it and I say what I am and what I'm doing in real time. Right? Like, I understand you might be feeling a little different way about this, son, but this is how I am. And this is where I come from, blah, 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 blah. I'm not just laying it down and walking away.
No guesswork.
Right. I'm giving them a little perspective on it. But the men of that generation, you just didn't get that. And we want it's just like we idolize stuff, man, because we picking and choosing it.
Great.
I want to be a man like my granddaddy, or the girl wants to say, I want a man like my grandfather. No, you don't.
Mm-mm.
You don't want that. You want to be a granddaughter to your grandfather.
Right.
And you want to be a grandson to your grandfather. You don't want to be with a man like him, and you don't want to be the man that he was, because it's too much for both of y'all. You know, I mean,
What?
we want to throw a fit because people don't put a black box on the internet on the day we say to do it, or we was told to do it, and
Uh,
he had to deal with being called a nigga to his face,
right. Boy.
a boy to his face. It's levels, man.
Yeah, and I love this reflection because over the last few months, especially since the family reunion, my cousin and I, there's actually three of us, all three kids had three kids. I mean, one each. And our other cousin passed away this summer, man, brain cancer. So there's two of us left, and we've been talking a lot more since the family reunion, man. And our parents are the same. My dad is the oldest. Her mom is the youngest. Is she? No, actually, she's second. And no, she's the youngest. And bro, they are the same person. Like the stuff that I go through with my dad, she go through the same thing with her mom. I was telling her something dad was doing, and she was like, "My mom do the same thing." It's like, wow. So now I was about to say, now we trauma bonding.
Well, listen, I don't. You better at that part than I am because I don't speak in what I call therapy language. So
Uh-huh.
I I call it relating
Okay, that's cool.
because if I have a shared experience or an understanding, it
Yeah,
don't necessarily have to be trauma bonding.
we just
I
relate.
mean,
I like that.
there's people that I relate to, and that's it. It's done when it's done. You know, but I get it. Everybody got a term for something. Like I
Yeah,
was
I
telling
like
you,
yours.
but like I tell you, my daughter told me she had sensory overload, and I told her I was proud of myself because I raised her to be so upper middle class that she know what the fuck sensory overload is, and she recognizing it. And I was like,
Used it properly
but
in the sentence.
but I was like, you having sensory overload, hanging out and partying at a concert that I paid for. If you don't get off my damn phone, no,
With a
I'm just
bunch of
playing. I
black
love you,
folk.
baby. I'm playing. I love you, baby. Just in case you hear this, don't ever stop talking to your daddy.
Don't ever. Please don't.
But I did tell her, I was like, I'm proud of me. I was like, man, I made it. So it's all, let me go somewhere else. I was explaining to someone that we currently have multiple of our frat brothers right now that are going through divorce,
Mhm.
and they all have different stories. And I was asked, were they good husbands? And I
Wow.
said, my response was, I don't know. I wasn't married to the niggas. I said, but they my brothers. And if they need anything, I'm gonna be there for them.
What a question.
And it was happened to be a conversation I was having with a woman, black woman, and she was like, "Well, don't you want to know um, if they were good husbands?" And I was like, "Well, have you ever had any of your friends, female friends, homegirls, go through a divorce?" Yeah. Did you wonder, were they good wives? And she was like, I never had to wonder that. I said, well, if you did, who would you ask? Her or him? And I was like, wouldn't he be the judge?
Mm-hmm.
of whether she was a good wife.
Right.
Because it's rare that I heard somebody say, "Hey, I just want to let you know I sucked.
Hey
I
man,
was
my mom
subpar."
said that to me, man.
No, but I know
My
that. But that's and
dad.
listen. First of all, um, that was like
Unicorn didn't
to
show
me,
y'all
your
like
mama like Otani.
one of the
1 on
generation.
1. You know what I'm saying? She 1 on 1. And 6'4" Japanese dude pitching and hitting. That's your mama.
For sure.
No Tani of the South.
The Otani of marriage.
You know? No, because that's just like people don't cop to that like that,
Right.
You know, most folks when they tell the story, they the hero or the victim. Folks is gonna rarely tell the story and they the villain in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. I watch interviews with Ike Turner and he made excuses. He's like, it ain't my fault she fell for the faint. Anyway, she was a sucker for a left hook.
Oh my God.
Oh man. So no,
Oh my God.
but it's just like if we're honest if we're honest and transparent about this, man, as humans, man, we be messing up.
Hmm. All the
But the
time.
grace we give ourselves versus the grace we give others, it's not even close.
Hmm.
Boy, we can forgive our own shortcomings,
Can't we
but
though?
don't you slip up on any expectation I have of you. I'm gonna hold you hostage and hit you over the head with it. Meanwhile, I've been messing up on the same thing for 15 years. And all I'm gonna say is, well, you know how I am.
Won't you give me grace?
And what I'm saying is, bring it all the way back around. If your mama is to you as a child, if she say to you over and over again, you know how I am, that's the same thing she said to your daddy. But she was his chick, not his mama.
Mm. That's a bar. Okay. Let's hit this next one.
That makes sense. They should have a healthy fear of the world. We as fathers have to make sure that we set an example for our kids that makes sense. They should have a healthy fear of the world. The father's job is not to nurture. The father's job is to be a microcosm of the real world. Love your child, yes, but prepare your child for the world out there because nobody cares that you were the chosen one and you came along at a time where the family really needed a baby and nobody cares. Can you do the job or no? It's real binary. I don't care what they say on the internet. The world is very binary. Do it or no. Can or cannot. Do or do not. There is no try. Your 17th place trophy in wiffle ball don't mean nothing to these people. Just like old, Rick with his 4 touchdowns in a single game. Like nobody cares. We've got to create an environment that is grounded in reality and maximum skills, especially for our daughters.
Man, we've been talking about that. Also, like, hey man, the vision that fathers have for our children is about, are you prepared to go outside this house? Are you prepared to not just survive, baseline survive, but thrive and be successful in a world, outside this house? That's responsibility. That's, accountability. That's, all the things that come from doing chores on a regular basis, being disciplined, turning in your homework, being the best version of yourself, communicating, being responsible, all those things that especially our teenage kids, um, loathe us for are the exact same things that those skills and practices they should be putting in place and mastering at that age to be successful outside the house. So I don't know. I agree with everything he said in that. Jake?
Well, first of all, he just described my childhood. All he didn't say was, and take out the trash, nigga.
For sure.
My mind works. My mind works slightly different. It works how it works, is what I say at this point in my life.
Speak it. I love it.
So I'll share this. I drift off into, if I was going to give like the ultimate speech for something, right? I've had visions and dreams of, not dreams meaning that I was asleep, daydreams, drifting off and having dreams of speaking at my mother's funeral, at my uncle's funeral, who had the biggest hand in raising me. What would I say?
Literally.
What would I say literally? What would I say at my son's or daughter's wedding party? What would I say, at the end or at a milestone for someone that I care about? And then I go, how do you say it to them now? And how do you live that out in front of them? That's the evolution of it. The thoughts used to just be that I'll be driving on the freeway and start drifting off. But now the evolution of it is that back half. What he is talking about is putting in front visually and then backing it up with the words, with everything, to show your son what is waiting for him in the world.
Yeah.
This may be controversial to some and hurt others and piss off a few. But our own community hasn't shown care and concern for young Black men on a sufficient enough level.
Ooh.
So how will we expect the outside or greater, quote unquote, society to regard us?
Right.
So all this, again, I said this about our father's generation, but it still holds true today. An emotional man is a man that's in jail or a man that's dead. An emotional Black man, let me say it correctly, is a man that's in jail or a man that's dead. I don't have the exact number, and somebody will fact check me later and tell me I was off by 3% as if it changes it. So I'm going to give a range somewhere between 70 to 80%. I can't remember the exact number of men that are in prisons come from single mother homes because they don't have the emotional regulator that's necessary to function as a man in this society. Because as a man without an emotional regulator, our default is not insults and catfight and talk shit. Ours is murder,
Right.
anger, violence.
Right. 0 to 100.
It's 0 to 100. And so that's why it's so important to understand what you're facing and to have a guide to walk you through. I would imagine, and I can only imagine because I'm not going to do it. I would imagine that if I was climbing Mount Everest, my choice wouldn't be the guide that I like. My choice would be the guide that's best suited to get me up the mountain.
Right. Get the dope Sherpa.
But in this climb of life, we've been convinced that like matters like that. Like is a bonus. I'm pretty confident that my son kind of likes me now. But I'm very confident. Yeah, but I'm very confident that my son respects me, and that's never wavered. That he values me, and that's never wavered. And he knows that I stand 10 toes down, and that's never wavered. There's 6 or 7 more things that I could rip off before like comes into the equation.
Sure. Sure. And man, you said something, and I love it. And you and I talk about it all the time. It's about expectations, and the first half of that is, the gap between expectations and reality is disappointment. So when you remove the expectation, there is no disappointment. The flip side of that, that's pertinent to this conversation, is the expectation for people on us, right? There's a reality expectation that we know what people are expecting from us, and what we expect and what our thing is different. So we just got to roll with reality. Reality is, hey, this is my job, man. This is what I'm here to do. Other people's expectations, okay. I'm here to take care of it. I'm here to handle it, and do it at a level to where folk walk away feeling a certain way, which is good about whatever they asked about.
Do you remember the last time you had like a real expectation and it was met or exceeded?
Oof. Hey, you know what? The realest thing I can say about that is anything we had between the 9 of us, excuse me, the 10 of us, 9 not included, between the 10 of us, man, that's been, I guess that's a deeper conversation. But go ahead. No.
Well, see, because
besides
I
Genesis,
would
no.
offer with us because we would have never dreamt or expected to have the friendships
Man,
and all the connection that we've had over 30 years, right?
right.
But that's also the point.
Yep, that is the point.
Like,
Hmm.
because it wasn't expected.
Right.
I can't remember when I had high hopes and they were met.
Mm. Yeah.
When I had this, I mean,
Right.
I, I just don't. But when I go in like, hey, then stuff turned out to be real cool. And maybe that's just me. But, you know,
You lower the bar so low that when it happened, it's
nah,
like,
you know
oh,
what? It ain't even, I don't even look at it like that. I just don't think people do well with pressure. And the expectation is pressure.
good point.
More people crumble under pressure.
It's a lot of inner work.
And it's a reason why whenever you talk about anything elite, I don't care if you're talking about a Navy SEAL, care if you're talking about sniper school, I don't care what you're talking about. When you get to the elite of the elite, it's very few people because people are going to crumble under the pressure.
Hmm.
I told, and I'm not proud of this, I'm just relaying this story because maybe it'll help somebody. And this was a real conversation, and I'm not going to say the whole context of the situation that I said it, but I looked a young man in the eyes and I looked at him and I said, hey, man, I want to let you know I see the bitch in you. And he was all bitch. But he was so much bravado to cover the bitch up that when I said what I said,
Hmm.
and he knew that I knew,
Hmm.
origami, he folded.
That's a heck of a
Because
fold.
I didn't say it to challenge him, and I didn't say it loud and crazy. I actually whispered it in his ear. Like, I want to let you know I see it.
Got him.
That's what I mean by applying pressure.
Truth, man. Hey, man.
They're gonna pull up. What's your next video? You gonna pull up my father? They're gonna have a seance in this motherfucker.
Well, actually, your mom did. Nah. Say it now. Live it in front of them. I thought that was dope. Yeah, man. We're gonna wrap that up with Dave Anderson, man. Get his book, Black Agenda. Check out, Dio Amiri's page. Dio have to tell you what his page is. He can get on and put that info out there. Check out JT.
Hey man, listen.
I'm planting seeds on the.
That's what I'm saying.
On the
Ain't nothing to
soil
check
show, man.
out. I ain't no listen. I ain't on no social. I ain't on no this. I ain't know that. Ain't nothing to check out yet. He just working on me on something.
I
But
am.
I will offer this up. Sometimes you got to look at life, like as if you was having sex with a midget. You know, some of the ways you used to doing the positions not gonna work. You just gotta adjust. But either way, you still getting it in.
Oh man. So I was gonna say on that note, is that your last thought?
Yeah, man, that's all I got.
Still getting it in. All right.
You still getting it in.
Yeah. So okay, cool. Big ups to Dio Amiri behind the board.
Cause you ain't never had no 3'11" heel on your nipple.
You're right. Oh man. Big ups to the gathering spot. Big ups to Tally and Twine.
Your chick big toe tickle your titty.
The little big toe.
The dog, because she might got rectal size toe, depending on what she working with. But just whatever it is. I'm just saying.
Anyway, thank y'all. Like, share, subscribe.
Put her in the suitcase, bring her to the hotel.
I mean, it's not like a seat on the airplane, man.
No, I'm just saying, just because, you know, maybe you kinky like that, and you unzip it, she jump out clapping.
Hercules.
You know, be like, hey.
Oh my goodness. All right, man. We Hey, Dio, in the stream, baby. We about to hit the outro.
It's an all midget strip club in Portland, if anybody interested.
What's it called?
No, it's a real one. I don't know the name of it, man. I was talking to some dudes, they shipped me to it.
But I know you had a name of one that you wanted.
Oh, I wanted to open one called Itty Bitty Bitches, but midget lap dances half off. That was gonna be our trademark.
Hit the outro, Dio. If you still there.
He sleep.